If you're at all into vinyl playback, the debut line of products from Pro Ject need no introduction. Today we are going to take a look at their new debut Pro turntable to find out just how it stacks up against the competition. Pro Ject's debut turntables have been a Goldilocks design since their introduction, perfectly marrying price and performance in a way that has really caught on with enthusiasts. So rather than monkey too much with the formula, Pro Ject simply set out to make it better, albeit incrementally, with the Pro. So what is so special about the Pro? Well, for starters, the Pro gets a new tone arm, which is a carryover from Pro Ject's costlier X1 and X2 turntables. The carbon fiber and aluminum tone arm rests inside a new tone arm collar, providing for greater levels of adjustment to allow for compatibility with a wider range of third-party cartridges, or should I say cartridge sizes. There's also a new updated platter with the Pro, one that is purported to cut down on wow and flutter. In true debut fashion, the Pro is a belt-driven design that has electronic speed control with support for 33, 45, and 78 RPM records, though the latter does require the use of a separate but still included belt. It features adjustable feet that help keep the turntable level and free of vibration, not to mention a new satin black MDF plinth that is hand-painted and finished to perfection at Pro Ject's factory in Europe. Now the Pro ships with the Sumiko Rainier cartridge, which is a well-known entry to mid-level cartridge among enthusiasts, and it is pre-installed. This moving magnet design features an elliptical stylus. Now the Pro Ject does not have a built-in phono preamp, which means you may need to budget for a separate phono preamp, or you need to make sure that your existing preamp, integrated amp, AVR, processor, or even powered speakers have a phono preamp in order to connect directly to and enjoy the debut Pro turntable. Now in terms of setup, the Pro comes almost fully assembled from the factory. Like I said, the Rainier cartridge is pre-installed, though you will still have to balance the arm once out of the box, not to mention install the anti-skate weight, which I'm not going to lie, is kind of a pain thanks to its old school weight on the end of a piece of monofilament design. Thankfully, once you get it installed, you should never have to adjust it, unless of course you switch cartridges, which may require some tweaks. But apart from the usual adjustments most turntables require upon unboxing, the Pro isn't that different or more difficult to get up and running when compared to other belt-driven turntables. And the Pro looks like a higher-end turntable than its asking price would maybe have you believe. All of the parts feel sturdy and well-built, and the act of spinning records inspires confidence that the Pro is likely to stand up to years of use. I especially liked how well dampened the built-in Q lever was, lowering the new tone arm with absolute control, never allowing the stylus to crash into the vinyl the way some levers can. The tone arm is incredibly lightweight, at least compared to all of the other aluminum or magnesium tone arms that I've used, which took some getting used to, but that isn't a knock against the Pro Ject, just an observation. The turntable sound is derived from the sum of its parts, so when evaluating a turntable, you are also evaluating the cartridge, which is often made by a third party, not to mention the phono preamp, which on the Pro is not included. In other words, your experience may differ from my own, especially considering your ancillary gear is not likely to be the exact same as mine. I only listen to the Pro using the included Rainier cartridge because that is how I feel 99% of listeners will enjoy this table. I connected the Pro to my Audiolab 6000A Play and the Macintosh 7200 stereo receiver, both of which have phono preamps built in. I also tested it with my standalone Pluto phono preamp from U-Turn Audio connected to my Canor Ai 110 amplifier. Speakers ran the gamut from our Klipsch Forte 4s to the Focal K2 towers and pretty much everything in between. So finally, how does the Pro sound? This is an incredibly well-balanced sounding turntable, one that definitely puts a premium on sounding good across the widest range of source material without necessarily being the best in any one regard. On the whole, the Pro definitely has what I can only describe as a mildly warm and smooth mid-range presentation, one that complements female vocals, acoustic guitars, or string instruments incredibly well. If you're a sucker for a slightly enhanced or warm, round, and pleasing mid-range, the Pro isn't likely to disappoint. Highs are relatively airy with good texture and detail, though they are not the most extended, coming across as ever so slightly rolled off at the extremes and lacking in absolute top-end energy. When paired with the warmer, fuller mid-range, this results in a silkier, smoother sound rather than an outright exacting one. I didn't mind this, because some of our older records and even some of our new ones, like those from Panic at the Disco, definitely become a little bit more palatable with the Pro's mild top-end restraint. Where the Pro didn't quite rise to the occasion, at least for me, is in the bass. Bass notes are full-bodied, and when paired with the Audiolab or Macintosh amp, they're relatively deep, but the Rainier cartridge isn't quite as resolving down low as I would have liked from a table at this price point. I'm not suggesting the Pro is lean. There is bass, it just isn't as agile nor as detailed or dynamic as you might experience from cartridges like the 2M Blue from Ortofon. Given that critique, it should come as no surprise that I didn't find the Pro to be the most dynamic table in our home. Dynamics were not lightning quick, but I wouldn't go so far as to say they were non-existent. While my Audio-Technica fitted with the Ortofon 2M Black cartridge can sometimes rival CDs and high-res audio with respect to dynamics, the Pro Ject possesses what I refer to as a more classic analog sound, which you may prefer. Now, in terms of soundstage, the Pro was impressive with respect to its width and depth, though due to the slight lack of top-end detail, it wasn't quite as focused as some of our other tables. But when it comes to long-term listening sessions, you know the kind where you just put on record after record, the Pro absolutely shines. So if you're one who likes to completely dissect an album and listen in order to be impressed rather than moved, the Pro may not be the table for you. But if you're looking for a player that you can listen to for hours on end with little to no regard for whatever record you may choose to spin next, the Pro is a solid option. While the Pro isn't perfect, it is a perfectly capable turntable. That said, its lack of a built-in phono preamp and convenience features like auto start and stop, never mind tone arm return, may make this table less than ideal for vinyl newcomers. It is a belt-driven turntable, so you may have to replace the belt from time to time to ensure proper playback speeds. All that said, nothing about the Pro's day-to-day usability is that different from other belt-driven turntables. I will say that should you want to upgrade the Pro's performance, switching out the included Rainier cartridge is where I would start. Now, in terms of comparisons, the Pro is better built and uses more robust materials compared to my go-to entry-level turntable, the U-Turn Audio Orbit. That said, you can achieve similar levels of performance, save for 78 support, in the Orbit Special at $499 or $569 should you configure the Special with a built-in phono preamp. The Special comes with an Ortofon 2M Red cartridge as standard, which isn't my favorite, but is similar to the Rainier cartridge found on the Pro, although the Rainier is better, at least to me. Definitely a little richer and less analytical when compared to the Red. Now, compared to the Fluence RT85, the Pro may use nicer components, be a bit more upscale in its finish, and have a little more audiophile pedigree. But where it matters, performance, the Pro does not audibly beat the RT85. While I would rather look at and interact with the Pro over the RT85, between the grooves, where it counts, the RT85 and its included 2M Blue cartridge is simply a better 1-2 punch. When you toss in the fact that the RT85 is nearly half as much as the Pro, it definitely makes spending more harder to justify. And then there's my personal budget reference turntable, the Audio-Technica LP140. When fitted with the Ortofon 2M Black cartridge, which is not standard, the pairing is only about $170 more than the stock Debut Pro at $999. If you can stretch your budget just a little bit, this combo is superior to the Debut Pro in almost every conceivable way, save for maybe looks and finish quality, to which I prefer the Pro Ject. That said, at a little over $1,100 for the 140 and 2M Black, this combo goes toe-to-toe with rigs costing upwards of $3,000 or more. When connected to the capable phono preamp inside the Technics R1000, there was actually little to no audible difference between this $1,100 combo and Technics' own 1210 GAE fitted with the exact same cartridge. So in the end, would I recommend the Pro Ject Debut Pro? Yes, I would, because I think it is a very well-built, audiophile-grade turntable that doesn't cost insane money, nor does it require you to go to just ridiculous lengths in order to enjoy your record collection. But is it the only turntable solution under $1,000 worth your consideration? No, of course not. While the Pro may be a value compared to other Pro Ject turntables, it is not an outright value leader compared to the competition. So, if you're on the market for a manual, belt-driven turntable and you have a budget of about $1,000, I would put the Debut Pro on your list of turntables to consider. So that's it. That is now my review of Pro Ject's new Debut Pro turntable. Now it's time to find out what Christy thought of it. And I know that you don't have a lot of opinions on this turntable because it has been a minute since we actually had this table in-house. We got this table very early, and then it was delayed, and we don't have to go into it. But I am curious, what is your favorite entry-level to mid-fi turntable? Because you've heard a lot. We have a lot of turntables, and so I'm kind of curious, which one has been your favorite? I put her on the spot.
My favorite entry-level?
To mid-level turntable.
I mean, I guess it would be the Audio-Technica LP140 XP, the one that we use all the time.
Yeah.
To me, that makes the most sense because, I mean, based on what I can tell, and look, I don't know jack about turntables. I really don't. I've used them throughout my life. Do I know anything about wow and flutter? No. It sounds made up. Seriously. Like, the majority of stuff in audiophile dumb, it sounds totally made up. But okay. I know for a lot of you,
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. You can tell me what it means in the comments. Anyway, back to my point. I kind of feel like the cartridge is really the difference maker.
Yeah.
To, you know, the outcome of a turntable and like how it sounds.
Yeah.
Well, and that, you know, and like the other things you mentioned.
The phono preamp and stuff.
Yeah. Like there's so many things that could make or break a turntable's performance.
Right.
So to me, they're a bit hard to judge or even review, but the cartridge upgrade that we've made to the Audio-Technica in the Ortofon Black, I mean, it really does sound as good as the most expensive turntables we've ever had in house. So for me, I just wouldn't spend more than that. Of course, if I had just gobs of money laying around and I didn't have to be concerned about budget, then yeah, would I go and splurge for something like one of the Technics
like the 1210
fancy turntables?
Yeah.
Sure I would, just because they're beautiful.
They are. They're incredibly well made.
And at a certain point, at least for me, everything kind of sounds good. Yeah. And so for me, and this is for me, remember, this is just me.
Your opinion.
My opinion.
Yeah.
It is not gospel. Once you reach a certain price point, it's about how it looks and fits in with my life, my overall like aesthetic, more than anything else.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that we've reviewed a lot of great turntables. Like the U-Turn is a fantastic turntable. I think it's got a cool, minimal sort of look to it. That I think is a great option for people. I know that the RT85 is a great option as well. I mean, it's such a great value.
Yeah.
But to me, I don't like the look of it.
Yeah,
so
the high gloss black paint is not my favorite. I think if the RT85 managed to come out with a satin finish like the Pro, ooh, boy, that would make things really tough.
Yeah, they need to up their style factor for me. And if they did that, which I know would probably increase the price a little bit, but if they were able to accomplish something a little bit more just style friendly, then I think that they would be incredibly hard to beat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like I said, to answer your question, the Audio-Technica turntable would be my budget-friendly go-to. Oh,
absolutely. I think from a performance standpoint, the combo, and I understand that the cartridge, the 2M Black, and now the 2M Black Beethoven edition, that is what I use. I understand that cartridge costs more than the entirety of the LP140, but I don't mind that so much because when you pair them together, not only is their performance similar or equal to turntables in the $3,000 to $5,000 range, but you're still coming in at around $1,300, so it is a relative savings. But I will agree, like, I like Pro Ject turntables a lot because stylistically, build-wise, they make arguably some of the prettiest turntables on the planet.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I love the way this particular turntable looks, and I mean, the people at Pro Ject know I was wanting that satin green finish turntable for forever. Which,
Oh, that was on a different turntable.
yeah,
not
but
the
which
Pro.
they never sent.
Yeah.
But like I could make an argument to buy into Pro Ject just specifically because
Finish options.
they have great finish options.
Yeah, and one of the turntables I didn't mention in this review is another Pro Ject. And for me, it's been a little bit too long since we've had it in-house, so I didn't want to try and compare it because I couldn't do a direct A to B. But my biggest issue with the Pro is that you have the Pro Ject X1 and X2 turntables, which are only like $100, $200 more than the Pro. And I think that from a material standpoint, a finish standpoint, and like you said, like I say in the review, the tone arm on the Pro is the same as the X1 and X2. I would spend a little bit more and go that route because I think those turntables are just insanely cool. And those are the types of tables that if you update the cartridge, you're probably done. To be perfectly honest, you're probably done. They have like old Lynn Sondeck vibes. The tone arm's fantastic. You can fit pretty much any cartridge you want to them and basically have your cake and eat it too for about $1,200-$1,300. So another little pro tip, if you're wanting to stay in the Pro Ject ecosystem, maybe satin black isn't your thing, or you're wondering like, well, what would I have to do to just get a little bit above Pro, X1, X2? That's where I would look. So I know I put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I take it you don't have anything else to add.
I really don't.
All right. Well, that is now our review of the Pro Ject Debut Pro turntable. What did you guys think? Let us know down in the comments below. While you're down there, question of the day for you is, what is your favorite Pro Ject turntable? Or if you already own one, which one do you have? I am curious. I want to see what everyone's rocking. So let us know down in the comments below. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Go ahead and ring that bell so that you're notified when new videos come out. If you use any of the links that Christy left for you down below, know that that is a great way that you've continued to show your support for this channel and the work that we do. And we both thank you very much for doing that. Follow me on Instagram at recoveringaudiophile. And that is it for us today. So remember, the only person who has to like the sound of your system is you.
What?
So happy listening, everybody. Thank you again for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.